finding fun ways to craft on the cheap. Hi everyone, it's Sherry. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. That's what my channel is all about. Stay tuned. Welcome to my channel, friends. Thank you so much for choosing to be here. You have viewing options. You have other things that you could be doing right now, and you're choosing to be here, and I welcome you, and I appreciate you giving me some of your day. As most of you know, if you've been with me for a while, one of the things that I pride myself on is being able to do inexpensive crafting, whether I'm using items from the Dollar Tree, paper crafting, whatever. I love to find inexpensive ways that we can craft, whether we're crafting for us, for gift giving, or for selling. And I want us to be able to do that on the cheap, but I want the end result to look very upscale. That's what we're doing today, because here is what we're making today. We're going to make this nice chunky box that holds some really cute little items. So I'm going to flip to my overhead camera so that I can give you a closer look at this. But y'all know what time it is. It's time to make it. Okay, so even if you're not interested in doing this craft today, please go ahead and watch the whole video because it helps my channel if you stay and watch the video after you've started it. But even if you aren't going to make this today, maybe it's one of those things that you'll want to save to a playlist to make it another day. And before we really jump into this, I just want to remind you that even though I'm theming this with pumpkins, you can make this to be anything that you want it to be. Change your paper, change your embellishments, and turn it into what you want it to be. Don't just look at what I'm making here and say, oh, I don't want to make that because it's pumpkins. It can be whatever you want it to be. So here's what it is for me today. When finished, we're going to have a box size that measures 2 by 4 by 3 1/4. And I have it closed with Velcro. I am going to move my papers to the side so that I can open this and show you all of the goodness in this chunky box. I don't even have it filled to capacity. But what I decided to do was I decided to make a whole bunch of note cards, and then I made some envelopes to go with these. Y'all, this is some really inexpensive paper crafting. These are very simple note cards using various types of pumpkins. Like I said, I'm doing this for pumpkins, but you can do it for anything. These note cards are 3 3/4 by 3, so they're a little larger than the standard 3 by 3 note card. They are 3 3/4 by 3. And then we have envelopes to match, and these envelopes are 3 7/8 by 3 1/8. So those are your sizes for what we're making today. Can't you see yourself making up a whole bunch of these for different reasons and seasons and giving them or selling them? I think you'll do a fabulous job. So here is how easy it is to make this. My box is going to hold 12 cards and 12 envelopes. So I'm going to need 2 pieces of 12 by 12. I'm using white for the base. Then I have a piece of 12 by 12 medium weight that I'll be using for the box. Then I have a piece of 12 by 12 that I'll be using to decorate my cards as well as portions of the box. I have a scrap piece. This is about 7 by 12 and I'll be using portions of that. Then for the envelopes, you're going to be able to make 2 envelopes from one piece of 12 by 12. So in all, you will need 6 pieces of 12 by 12. I'm going to be using lightweight to make the envelopes. I'm not going to make all of the envelopes in this video, but I will show you how to make custom envelopes for this size card. So that is what we're going to need. So we are going to start by making our cards. All right, so here is how we're going to do those cards. We're going to take the 12 by 12 white. We score at 3. Then we rotate it to the opposite end by turning it twice. So there's 1, there's 2, and we score at 3 again. And then we're going to slide it over and cut at 6. So you're going to have 2 pieces already pre-scored. So now I can take those 2 pieces and we can go ahead and cut them out at 3 3/4. That was just a little trick of pre-scoring so that you don't have to worry about scoring 12 cards individually, but you can if you want. You just cut your pieces out at 3 3/4 by 6, and on the 6-inch side, score at 3. So I'm just cutting out my 3 3/4 inch pieces. So there are all of my card bases. I'm just going to do a few of the cards with you. We're not going to make all 12. We will go ahead and do 3, and then I'll show you how to make envelopes. So let's go ahead and fold and burnish our cards. Then I'm going to take this piece because I want it to be the base for my card. So I'm going to cut it at 3 1/2 by 2 3/4. So that's 3 1/2 by 2 3/4. This will give me the cute little base for my cards. So you'll need to cut out 12 of these so that you can do your 12 cards. And so now these will go on like this. So I can put these down using some tape. So I'll just go ahead and tape all 3. And I know a lot of times I'll get the question, why don't you show yourself making all 12 cards and all 12 envelopes? Because the process is pretty much the same, and doing that will make for a very long video. And I don't like to speed up the video and have you see my hands moving real fast as I am crafting. Anytime I watch a video like that, it makes me dizzy. So I don't like to do that. And that is one of the reasons why I will show you how to do a repetitive process with just a few of the pieces, because I know that you get the gist of what I'm doing. So now we have our cards, and I wanted to share this with you guys because on Amazon or Walmart possibly, you can find rolls of stickers like this. And I think this roll either had 500 or 1,000 on it, and you get these very inexpensively. But I think that they make great toppers for the cards, and they come in a variety of types. You can find them for any holiday. So go out there and look. I'll have these linked, and I think the link that I'm sending might even show you some others that are available. So there are 3 of our pumpkin cards. I'm going to go ahead and just set these to the side so that I can show you how easy it is to make envelopes for cards that size. I have 2 of my papers together. You'll actually need 6 pieces if you're making 12 cards and 12 envelopes. But we're going to take these and we're going to trim this to 12 by 8. Then we'll take it and we'll trim it to 5 7/8. Envelope size is actually going to be 5 7/8 by 8. Those are the sizes that you will need to be able to make these envelopes. Now I am using directional patterns, and that means that on one side my pattern will be upside down. Y'all, I'm okay with that, but if you're not, make sure that you're using a non-directional print. So on the 5 7/8 inch side, I'm going to score at 1, rotate it to the opposite side and score at 1. I'll go ahead and do the same thing with this one. On the 5 7/8 inch side, I'll score at 1, rotate it to the opposite 5 7/8 inch side and score at 1. Then I'll turn it to the 8-inch side, score at 3, and at 6 1/8. Same thing here on the 8-inch side, score at 3, and at 6 1/8. Then let's fold and burnish both of our envelopes. Again, this is a repetitive process, so I'm only showing you how to make a couple. So now we'll be removing the 4 corner pieces from the envelope. So here I'll cut in at an angle, cut in at an angle here to free that. Cut in at an angle, cut in at an angle to free this. And then I'll angle in as I'm cutting down to remove those corner pieces. And then we'll do the same thing over here. So I'll just angle in here, angle here, here, and here. And now I'll cut at an angle as I'm cutting in a downward motion to get rid of this. Do the same thing here, and the same thing here. So I like to round the ends of my envelope, so I'm just going to cut here and cut there, and I'll just cut around. You can use a corner rounder for this, or you can just leave the envelopes squared. I just like to round. There. So now I'll bring in my tape. I'll put a little bit of tape here and a little tape here close to that inside. And then I'll add tape here and tape here. Let's fold up and over. There's our envelope. And then I'll do the same thing with this one. Let's add that tape on the end here. That is the widest. And I will fold up, and there is envelope number 2. Again, you just do this process for all of the envelopes that you need for your box. So now we have 2 really cute envelopes that'll go with the set. So now I'm going to bring in my medium weight piece of white, and we're going to make the box. So I'm going to cut this piece to 8 by 12. Then on the 8-inch side, let's go ahead and score at 2. Rotate it to the opposite 8-inch side and score at 2. Turn it to the 12-inch side, and we're going to score at 3 1/4, at 5 1/4, at 8 1/2, and at 10 1/2. And then we're going to fold and burnish all of those scores. All right, so once you have your scores folded and burnished, you're going to have this narrow flap here. That'll be the fold over for the top. And you're going to have a wider flap here. We move up to this section here, and we're going to free these tabs. So I'll just turn it to the side, go to the score mark, and cut down the middle of that score mark, and cut down the middle of this score mark. Then I'm going to angle in just a little bit, angle in here, and then I'm just going to reduce this. And now I'll move over to this side and do the same thing. So let's go up and cut straight down to free the tab. Then we can angle in here as well as here. And then we can reduce the tab in size like this. So now we have this flap and we have this part. So we will be cutting in this direction, meaning we'll go up to the second score mark and drag straight down through the middle of that score mark to free this long piece. And let's do that over here as well. Freeing those pieces. Then we can reduce this in size, and all I'm doing is cutting slightly inside of the score mark to reduce it in size. And then I'm going to take this and just angle and angle. So now our piece is going to look like this. We can put it together. I will be putting this together using tape, because if you're using a good quality tape on a lightweight box like this, you can actually get away with using a snail tape runner. If it is a good quality snail tape runner. This one is not a brand that I have used a lot, but it's Sticky Thumb, and it does hold this very well. It holds lightweight to medium paper together very well. Now, I would not be using a snail tape runner if I was making something that was carrying a lot of weight. I would use my glue, but this time I'm going to use my tape runner. And I'm going to take that tape, fold in these tabs, and put some tape on the tabs. Then I'm going to add tape to this part of the box. So I'm going to fold these back and out of the way because I want to add my tape to this part of the box. So I'm just putting my tape on this panel. And I'm making sure that I get very close to the edge with my tape. All right, so now we can put it together. So we're going to take this, and we're just going to take this end and match it with the end here. And then we'll do the same thing here. Take this end and basically match bottom to bottom. Then we'll take this piece and we'll fold it over. You can take that piece and tuck it in if you want, because that will help you to match everything. So we're going to do the same thing over here. We're just going to take this piece, fold it over. Now I can go in and make sure that everything is nice and stuck. And so there we have a plain white box. We're going to dress this box up just a little bit because we want it to be cute. So I'm going to bring in this scrap, and I'm going to cut a piece that is 3 by 12. Then I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 3 3/4 by 3. And then 2 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 3. Then I'm going to bring in some scrap, and I'm going to cut a strip that is 3 3/4. And then I'll cut a strip that is 1 3/4. And then I'll cut a strip that is 1 1/4. So in my contrasting paper, I have a piece that is 1 1/4 by 3 3/4, and then I have a piece that is 1 3/4 by 3 3/4. Then I have 2 pieces that are 3 by 3 3/4, and 2 pieces that are 1 3/4 by 3. So now I'm just going to take my tape runner, add some tape, and put these down. So basically I'm just going to try to center this on my box like that. And then I'll take this one, put it on like that. this one and add our tape. Again, you should be using a good snail tape runner when you're doing this because you don't want your pieces to come up, and especially if you're gifting this or selling this, you don't want those pieces coming undone. So let's do this one. Take that one and put it on. Then I'll take the one that is 1 3/4 by 3 3/4 and we'll put that there. And then I'll take my last piece, add my tape, and let's take this piece and put it right there. So now we have our box. I am going to hold my box closed with a piece of Velcro. So let's take this, let's fold it over, and let's put that down, getting it nice and stuck. Now we'll take this, we'll fold it over, get that nice and stuck, and get that nice and stuck on the inside. So there is our box. Now I am going to take a pumpkin, and I do have some scrap white paper, and I'm going to take that pumpkin and just lay it on the scrap white paper to make it a little bit firmer because I want to use it as a decorative element. So I am just going to cut this out, and then I'll just go around and cut it out. And because I'm using white on white here, you can't really tell that my cutting is not the best. I am not good with scissors at all. So I'm cutting this out. There is my little decorative piece for the top. I am going to take a little bit of glue and put it down with glue since we'll be pulling up from the lid. Want to make sure that even if I did have some tape on there, that it didn't come undone. So now I can just take this and we're going to get it stuck. And y'all, I think that that is pretty cute. So I am going to add just a small handle like I've done on this one. I have some scrap, so I'm going to cut a piece that is 2 by 5. It's 2 by 5. And on the 2-inch side, I'm going to score at 1. And then we're just going to fold and burnish. Let's add some glue. Get this stuck. And I'll use my bone folder to help that stick along. And so now I'm just going to fold my ends like this. I went in about 1/4 inch on that fold. And then I'm just going to take some glue, put some glue. This is more of a decorative handle. It will carry, but it's just pretty small. But you can see that it does carry. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this one on like this. I did make this handle just a little bit bigger than the other one. And I think either size actually works. So that first one was 2 by 4. This one I made 2 by 5, and you can see that works. And so then I have some of these little Dollar Tree gems that I'm just going to cut off and use as a slight decorative element on here. This is a nod to my sister, who is Miss T's Crafty Corner on YouTube. She loves her bling, so I thought I'd put some bling on here. I have Miss T's Crafty Corner linked in my description box below, so make sure you head over and check her out. I'm very proud of my sister, and I hope that you guys will give her some of that Posh Paper Lady love as well. So now, y'all, we can open this. I can take my cards as well as my envelopes, and we can put those in. Again, you can get 12 cards and 12 envelopes in this box, so I think this is a nice little set. You can make it all occasion. It doesn't have to be just for one season. Why not go ahead and make up a box all occasion? So now I'm just going to take this, and this will be the last thing that I do for this one. I am just going to take it, loop it under the handle, and tie a little knot so that it hangs off the side just a little bit, like that. And then I'm going to trim away some of the excess twine. And there, y'all, we have 2 stinking cute chunky card boxes filled with beautiful cards and envelopes. I'm going to take these out because I haven't finished making all of the cards for this one yet, but you can see what a set we're able to have. And like I said, you don't have to make yours pumpkin themed. You can actually just mix this box with a whole bunch of different themes. But y'all, isn't this so much fun? I think it is. And I think it's a very inexpensive way to make something look high-end that you would keep for yourself or gift or sell at your next craft fair. I hope that you have enjoyed this fun way that we can take plain papers and turn them into something amazing. If you have enjoyed this video, and I certainly hope that you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, all day, every day, this channel right here is where you're going to get the the really good stuff. So I would love to have you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you will know when I upload a new video. As always, my beautiful handcrafty friends, please be safe, be kind, and be the reason someone smiles today. Happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.